Hey guys, so out of respect to you and the content that we agreed to create,
You idiot! I won! I won!
so as I mentioned, out of respect, we are here to do a behind-the-scenes reaction, the way Team Action always did, the way we are no longer Team Action, but the way we as people know is right. You, the good people of Patreon here, get to see this, and we're going to give you some of the beats behind the scenes from the first time we ever played against each other in the Schmodown. The first match of the Action Civil War, as they've called it.
This is the definition of a shit-eating grin. I can't wait to watch this. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy to actually finally play each other. Like, I was nervous as hell. Like, I was actually pretty nervous because I only played 6 times last year. You played like 20 times.
No, I played like 17. No. I think I played maybe 11 or 12 times last year.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I had a lot of matches.
I felt rusty.
Yeah, you played rusty.
I did. I played really rusty. I didn't burn my JTEs. Like I could have used them early. Like,
well, let's
rewind.
I mean, so we knew this was happening. You know, we knew this was coming, and there was different beats of how this was going to happen. And this one got set up because I think in the beginning the head-to-head match was teased as a possible. I mean, first of all, how did it make you feel when you saw my promo in New York? When you watched that? Because you had already had you had that moment at the live show last year when you got to be the star like that.
Well, I've been so busy lately, and there's been so much evolving and changing with Schmodown. I didn't actually know that I could watch the live event. I think I was at work when the stream was actually going on. I didn't know the stream stayed up for like 24 hours or whatever. So we talked later that night, and you told me how great it was, and you told me that it was still up. So I went and watched it.
Yeah.
And it was fucking sweet. It was like really sick. Like the way you come in, the music, the fans lose their shit, and like the promo, the time you take. I remember watching it, and like you throw some shade my way, and I was like, oh! And I felt like I couldn't do anything about it because you were all the way across the country.
It was that was my special moment. I knew that once that happened, that was going to ignite the already massive tension for this match. And so when this match happened, it was smart the way that Christian scheduled this, that he put us in these fake teams.
Yeah.
Well, so I thought. For this match. And so...
Well, that was a double-edged sword, though, right? Because once the real team was announced, if me and McQueenie lost, you and Finstock, it would have been basically over for us.
It would have been a much worse story this year.
It would have been really bad.
And again, guys, that's like, we've said this a million times, but just so you know, I mean, that is the definition of how this works. Is like, you can come up with cool ideas, but if we beat them there... all the story that he wants to promote doesn't work. He has to change the story. I mean, it's the same with Merle losing to you.
Right. Yeah. And you even told me, you're like, it would work better for the story if we lost to you, but I would never throw a match.
Ever,
you were like, I'm going to destroy you. And you played out of your mind.
I was very determined to win. I'm determined to win everything this year. And I think, it's weird too, because last year was like, sort of supposed to be my year. And last year I went from like a promising player that people thought was good to like by the end of the year, I think a lot of people were surprised I didn't have one belt, or at least, if not 2. Like there was a moment in the towards like when I got in the gauntlet before I played Clark.
You were on like that 5-win run, 6-win run. Yeah.
6 or 7 matches in a row. And so by the end of the year, enough people sort of wrote articles and did reactions talking about me like I was elite that I went into this year very calm, very confident, knowing that I'm going to win 2 belts this year. And
well, it's crazy. Every single year that we've been in the league,
yeah,
we've had that moment. Action had it in the tournament in year 1 when we lost, and then we lost to Above the Line.
Yeah.
Last year it looked for a minute there. I was 1 match away from going for the singles belt.
Yeah.
And then you and Who's the Boss, obviously. So it's crazy to think that now that this year, not only have we furthered our talents and our storylines and our characters, but also the whole story of the season is just about us.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the main focus of Schmodown is the Action Civil War. And so going into this match, I mean, I felt very confident. And, we were at the studio that day and I filmed inside Schmodown right around the same time. And, we were talking to our teammates. You and McQueenie are buddies. He had come on our show, I think that week before maybe.
Yeah. He'd called in and R&B and I know each other. We talked some, but still, it was just like,
oh yeah, and I mean,
you and I were just hanging out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there was just a lot. I mean, there's a lot going on. I had lunch with Levine that week and I was kind of talking to him about it. Like there's a lot of moving pieces now that we're so immersed in this world. So we get back there, we're backstage, and you're kind of with McQueenie and I'm with Dagnino, and I feel like Finstock is a little nervous. He's a little more nervous than I am, I feel like.
Yeah, I definitely felt because he hasn't played in a long time.
Yeah, and as far as like ridiculous as like a lot of his comedy is, he still wants to be good.
Yeah, he's a competitive guy.
Yeah, and so we get out there, and obviously we at that point we're backstage. We know what the bait and switch is going to be. Like we know the story, and I just sort of was like, if I lose this match, it doesn't matter. I have nothing to lose because this isn't a real team for me. This is one more loss on my team's record, which I don't want. But like, it's not going to be.
It doesn't actually affect your Who's the Boss record.
No,
like when it shows your like player card.
All time in singles,
right.
all time in teams. I took a loss in teams for this match,
right.
Which is. If I didn't think it was better for the story, I would probably have contested. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing, I tend to think Schmoedown is 51% wrestling at least. I think that the theatrical part of it is the better part of the league.
I mean, even when you and I lost to top 10, we both walked away from that day being like, the better thing happened for the show. John Roca leaving the show that year would have been, I mean, he wouldn't have gotten the belt again, with the founding fathers. So the whole thing, a lot of times in the Schmoedown things happen for a reason. So, that being said, you guys go out, we come out, or vice versa. You guys go out, then we come out, and the bait and switch is revealed.
What was your song you came into?
It was a Tupac song that Christian and I had talked about a while ago, which I thought was sweet. And McQueen comes out to The Godfather. I love that he taps you on the shoulder.
It's one of my favorite pieces of music. I in fact love the people that are in your squad.
Oh,
I'm such a fan of McQueenie and R&B that it's hard for me to not just get excited when I watch this stuff.
I love my faction.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about. But then the same goes for yours. Yeah. I love Finstock and Riley was a guy. Both those guys we tried to recruit for action for a long time.
Yeah, they're guys we want on our team. So it worked out well for us. And so
God damn it.
He comes out. Yeah, he comes out and you sit down and we came out to the theme song from The Natural. Which didn't really play as well as I wanted because it was kind of really quiet, the build up, and it was good. But it still when it hits and we walked out, I was happy when I watched it back.
Yeah,
because it's such an epic. It's just such an epic song. This Randy Newman score. But so we sit down and at that point I was like, all right, just get the questions going here.
I know I was in the same boat because I could just obviously all the build up was there, but the same thing is you have been just in it. You've been in the cockpit, in the driver's seat. You've been in the batting cage for this whole season in me and Finstock, and even McQueenie hadn't played a lot. He'd also had that weird loss to Riley where it felt like he kind of threw the game. So it felt to me like you were dialed in, and I was not at all. And I hate the first question. I hate it so much.
It just,
Even if I know it, it's always just like the pressure of the moment and this fucking first question.
Well, what I will say is, before we get to the question by question, one of the things that's so interesting about Schmoedown is there's two ways to approach answering questions. There's what you know. There's what you know you don't know.
Yep.
And the second way you answer a question is what you think you might be able to correctly guess or surmise. And it's about managing the seconds. You have 14 seconds or so after they ask a question where you're kind of trying to piece things together. And that happened in the first round to me at least once. I think Blow was the one that comes to mind where I've probably seen Blow. I did not know it was a biopic. I didn't know it was about Pablo Escobar. I didn't know Cliff Curtis was in it. But I know the year, and it was like, that's the most logical choice, so I have to just guess it.
I was shocked that you got that correct.
And that's, to me, though, is literally what I say. That's a question I don't know. I know I don't know it, but it's using that sort of whatever, that energy, whatever you're talking about that you get from playing a lot of Schmoedown.
Yep.
It's managing your seconds. It's managing your challenges, your JTEs, understanding how to do that and how to confidently get from one beat to the next, not getting flustered. When you miss a question, so speaking of the first question of the game.
So the first question of the game is I hear Scorsese and I hear DiCaprio, and I already know the answer. I just know it's Catch Me If You Can. But
no, it's Spielberg and
DiCaprio. That's what I mean. Yeah. And so I think I go Scorsese and DiCaprio, and I don't know why. Because first of all, they've worked together many, many times. I know this. We've talked about this. Catch Me If You Can is probably our favorite Spielberg-Leo movie. I mean, it's probably one of our favorite Spielberg movies, period.
It's my favorite Spielberg.
It's yours. And it's just one of those things. I hear it, and things just start going through my mind. I'm like, if you miss this question, Ben will miss.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm thinking about. That's all I'm fucking thinking about. And it's almost because I know it's Catch Me If You Can. And I write The Aviator. And I write it down. I'm like, this is wrong. What is going on? Oh my God, here it is. All the pressure. And then I'm like, why don't you JTE? I should have just JTE'd. I didn't. And I wrote The Aviator, and the moment, and of course they come to me first, and like I see the look on your face.
When I look at you, I'm like, really?
And I'm just like, and my face is like, God.
I was like, you missed that.
Damn it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I know. I can't imagine what that did for you in your mind. You probably just felt like you're like, all right.
The table on my side lifted a little bit. I think. I like it was everything I wanted because it was just perfect.
It was worse than the Big Fish moment.
Oh, way worse.
Yeah, way worse.
I knew you knew it. I knew you knew I knew it.
Yep.
And I knew you knew I knew you knew it.
Yes, exactly.
So the fact that you missed it was just like, it was just literally like I injected like some fucking steroid. It was like,
yeah. You got that can of spinach, and I was just like, and then for me it was almost so comical that I was like, in my mind I was like, okay, Drew, that was your one. Get your head out of your ass, like get in the game. And then when Along Came the Spider happened, or Along Came a Spider, that was when I was like, okay, you're back in it. You're like, you're playing your game. I love that Gucci wrote Bone Collector, and then he like kept saying,
and then tried to justify. He's like, it's a black actor.
No, he was like, he's in both of them. They're like, no, he's not.
It's definitely not Morgan Freeman. Yeah, I mean, the whole first round was like just kind of a mishmash comedy of errors. I was the only person that actually was like consistently on that first round.
Yeah, it was hilarious. McQueenie was off.
Dagnino, some Lacey Chabert, right?
Lacey Chabert was so good.
I mean,
no, he goes Lacey Charvet.
Yeah. I mean, there was just a lot of like.
Did I get 6?
I can't remember.
I can't either.
But
you get 9. You get 9 out of 9, and you know the director of The Frighteners.
Yes.
Which I was pretty shocked.
Can't remember why I know that. It could have been a conversation with Riley that I had. But
it's like not a movie in your wheelhouse. Who's the director?
Peter Jackson.
Oh, okay.
It's just there for some reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get through round 1, and I'm pretty happy. It's my first perfect round, which is exciting.
Which is ironic.
Yeah, which is one of the things that in the Schmodown, there's things that all the players want to do, and one of them is that. Like,
yes,
it's a notch on your belt. Queen's had like 7.
I know. Yeah, and it was really weird. I mean. So that being said, like you and Gucci's chemistry, I'm sure was like obviously different than yours and mine or yours and Riley, but it's also one of those things where like you guys are good buds, or like in the sense of like you at least McQueen and I we've never really hung out, we don't talk a lot, so it's one of those things where, and also we're on our own separate islands in round 1, so it's kind of weird to see him missing questions. I feel like he knew, and he seemed like a little off his game. Going into round 2, it was nice. This is where we kind of started to build our rapport, and he is a beast.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is the difference between your teammate and my teammate is that my teammate literally looked at me and said, like, after the first round, like, whatever you want, man.
Yeah, right. It's all on you. Yeah.
And your teammate is, like, the better player, clearly. He's, like, one of the most, I think in terms of pure knowledge, he's one of the best 3 or 4 players in the league.
He's horrifying.
I don't know why he's so inconsistent as a player, but I think I would absolutely bet if I played McQueenie, probably I lose.
I mean, we've said in the past 9 times out of 10 that dude beats almost anyone, like on almost any given day. He has his weird moments. But in round 2 for us, so you say, I personally would like to see Drew go up there. We throw a little shade back and forth. McQueenie goes up there. He's got the golden arm. He spins 90s. We stick with it, and we have a near perfect round. The only thing that we miss is it's not the Zebo question. It's the other question from Friday about who plays the
psychotic drug dealer, Big Worm.
Yeah. It's not Tiny Lister, because that's what he said.
That's what he said. Yeah. And I knew that wasn't right, but I didn't know.
I knew it wasn't right either.
Phase on Love is the correct answer, and I didn't know that.
I knew it wasn't right either because the Tiny Lister question had just been asked recently, or something like that.
Debo and Friday was my match.
Yes.
And it goes to us, and we spin
new
releases, and we actually spin sports, and we spin off, which is funny because that's one of his strengths, but
you're the stronger player.
That's what he said. Like, what do you want to do? And so we spun new releases, and
it's a good category.
Yeah, it was good. And we have a good round. The only real tough one is the Infinity War Steal. We go 2 points each on the first 3 questions.
We still 1 point from you right before that.
Yeah, it's a multiple choice question on the Purge.
Yeah,
which is not a movie I've ever seen. And then Infinity War was the hard one because they ask who's the first person that disappears after the snap. Now, Infinity War is one of the rare new releases that I've seen more than once. I've seen it 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
But when I start thinking about that moment and who disappears first,
so much is happening and it's so emotional.
I knew most of the characters it wasn't.
Yep.
But I didn't say Bucky, I said Black Panther, and when I said Black Panther, it didn't feel right.
Right.
But I also couldn't quite get to Bucky. It's one of those things where I think maybe because we had just lost the steal to you guys, I'm not sure what it was. I just didn't quite get there.
Yeah.
And that's the reason you guys won the match, is that steal right there. That's the biggest.
That's a big moment. Those 2 steals back to back, but the 2-point swing on a question where it was basically 50-50 in both of our minds. I think even when we talked about it later, it was like you were like, it's either Black Panther or Bucky. And in my mind, I was like, it's either Black Panther or Bucky. Black Panther feels a little too important.
Yeah.
Because he just had a whole movie, blah, blah. But then Bucky was also, Winter Soldier, the whole movie. But I was like, eh. So when you said Black Panther, I was like, it's got to be Bucky then. So it was actually, it was helpful.
Big steal. And I don't remember what the sixth question was, but it was one that we got.
Yep.
And we go into the last round. And at this point, you guys are in the lead. And I sort of know here, like... So first off, our 2-point question goes to Bobby Gucci and its modern classics, and this encapsulates everything about Tom Dagnino. You need to know. So they ask who directed Boogie Nights, and the first thing he says is, "Of course, no, it's my favorite director of all time." Actually, I worked with Maya Rudolph last week. Well, so first of all, Maya Rudolph's not in Boogie Nights.
I don't know why that's even. A thing.
I don't even know why. I don't know what he thinks. The fact that his favorite movie of all time is Boogie Nights means he has great taste in movies, but it's also a movie about the porn business. Like, there's just so much about it that you're just like.
Of course, it's Gucci's favorite movie.
And then he says. PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson, and you're like, oh, thank God, he actually knows it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, God damn it, and then I was like, oh wait, and then I was like, God damn it, because when he says the Maya Rudolph thing, I was like,
I just don't know what's happening. It's my second favorite movie of all time, so like that's a fair question. So kicks back to you guys,
and so it's animated or family or something, and I take it because I feel like I'm probably the stronger player in that category. At least McQueenie's the stronger player in general if he gets a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
And it's who plays the adult voice of Simba in The Lion King. And I know this. I know it.
You go JTT instead of Broderick.
Yep, I go JTT instead of Broderick, which in my mind, again, if I'd been playing the game more, I would use my JTE in round 1 on Catch Me If You Can. I would use my JTE again here, and I would have stopped it, and I would have thought, I don't know if I would have gotten to Broderick, but at least Jonathan Taylor Thomas voiced him when he was young.
Yep.
Get it wrong, and you guys we're tied again, I think.
Yeah, it goes to us. We get our 3.
Yep.
Which is in the category of it's who plays Mike Shiner in Birdman.
Oh God, yeah, like the
I actually love this because they go who plays like whatever
method actor or something.
Mike Shiner in Birdman, and I go in my mind I go okay, and then it's like okay it's Bruce Norton, and I go but I was like I want to use this moment because this is just me. So
I was sitting there and I'm like I know he fucking knows.
I go how many repeats do I have left? Christian goes none. You have none. You get 5. Or Edward Norton. And I just, and I was like, I know what you're doing. I know exactly what you're doing. I know you know the answer. I know what I was just like, but even though I'm pretty sure I knew I had no repeats, but asking how many repeats was just what I wanted to do. It's like what I did to Janine. Is this bothering you? Like,
so good. And then it comes back to us. McQueenie gets the 3, which I can't remember what it is right now.
I think he misses it. Right, that's the deal because we miss our 5 and you guys get your 5.
No, I think he hits the 3 to tie it up because you hit the 3 to bring you up to 25. He hits the 3, I think, to tie us up. Oh, because
you missed your 2. Okay,
because I missed the 2. You guys get your 5-pointer, which I knew. I was like 99% sure.
Omega 13, you would have gotten it.
No. I was like 99% sure you didn't know what it was because we talked about Galaxy Quest a lot. In our
wasted a pretty good guess.
You really did. And for half a second, because it was even like intelligible to the movie, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But then I was like, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
And then obviously it comes back to us.
And he asked a question that there's no way either of us would have gotten right?
No way. I wouldn't have known it. Even though I saw someone comment online, like both those 5-point, I mean, as some people always do, both those 5-pointers are too easy. One thing that I need to talk to McQueenie about, and it's something that you and Riley have already done. You guys have talked about the gameplay. You've talked about things that you got to do and things you don't do, and
answering too fast?
Answering too fast or answering without conferring with one another is something that's just like, it's basically unacceptable in my mind because you fuck up. You have brain farts, Giancarlo Stanton or whatever comes out of my mouth, whatever it might be. McQueenie knows it. I know he knows it. He says the immeasurable, beautiful, whatever, Audrey Hepburn. I know by his delivery that we've won and the right thing happens that day. You played maybe arguably the best game of your life on your own. We win. The story moves along.
Yeah.
I
played a good match. I mean, that's about, aside from the perfect round, it's about on par with how I've been playing for a year now. Because I missed 2 questions in round 2 and I missed the 5. So, like, that's...
Oh, I was going to say, but the thing is, if Riley was there...
Yeah, Riley... I mean, the thing is, the reason I know I'm going to be a champion this year is because if I can play like that consistently, Riley and I would have had 2 perfect rounds in round 1. He would have gotten Galaxy Quest. We would have absolutely won the match. Not even a question.
Look, McQueenie and I are still figuring each other out. Yeah. And we both had ring rust for sure. The whole inconsistency thing with McQueenie, we got to figure out. I need to get more consistent, period. But it was fun. It was super fun.
It was a great match. I had a great time. I didn't mind losing, really. I gave a shout out to Cal, the Schmo Dog, in my post-match with Riley.
Good boy.
And
the one thing that we didn't talk about and that we didn't actually know about that you weren't happy about was the stipulation, because we didn't actually know there was going to be a stipulation for our singles match against each other.
Oh, right. Yeah, so they announced the Houston thing. So, we're playing each other in Houston, and it's announced that if I lose to Drew in Houston, I will not be in the singles tournament this year, which I don't like. I don't think I'm going to lose to you, but, I don't like the idea that I would lose to you and then also not have a shot in singles, because it feels like this is, in some ways, a prop match. We're doing this, and this whole storyline is not about ranking. This whole storyline is about, granted, actually, it's closer to ranking than people realize.
Yeah, we're only, separated by 2 places, I
Your
think.
record all-time in singles is 2-1.
Yeah, you've lost 4 times as much as I have.
Yeah, my record's 4-4. You have a better percentage record, and your wins are really good. So,
and the other side of it is that I don't actually really lose anything. If I lose to you, you just pick my next match, which is whatever, you can set me up to get my ass kicked, but it's not like I actually lose anything.
I'm going to send you butt naked in a biker bar. That's what I'm going to do. That's your next match.
They would be very upset with me walking in there.
Yeah.
So, that being said, I look forward to Houston.
Houston's going to be good. Thanks for watching, guys. We plan to do one of these every time one of us is in a match. Put aside our petty differences.
Yep.
And one last thing. Fuck the Horsemen. Never. Never, ever. If you sell us an Inside Schmodown, this whole conversation people are having about the fucking Horsemen and Roca hiring me,
I wouldn't put it past him for a second. You make me sick.
No, there's so much discussion about it online, and this is like the you and the Roca father storyline where people talk about it. Never. It makes me sick, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. So
it makes me sick as well. So from your winner, I want to say thank you guys so much for watching, being patrons. I love you, and I'll see you in Houston.